Morning, all. So let us discuss the final team in the league to go through, and I want to touch on yesterday's video on Washington because people were like, "Why wouldn't he protect Oshie?" Oshie's contract does not age well, and with a flat cap being as it is, it's one of those contracts that if Washington was able to have Seattle take it, they might be better off in the long term. So that's why I had Oshie out there, which is why. I went a little bit off board with Winnipeg today. We'll start with why Stastny's listed as being exposed to Seattle. He's a UFA next year. What if he doesn't want to stay in Winnipeg? And I know there's reason to think that he'll be happy in Winnipeg and he said all the right things since the trade. But what if when he has to put pen to paper he says, I'd rather not be in Winnipeg? So I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that Seattle can sit down and talk to him prior to the expansion draft. They can talk to anybody who's on the exposed list and say, hey, how would you like to sign a contract with us? Here's what we're looking at offering you. So when people say, well, why would they take these UFAs? That's part of the reason why. They have the right to talk to players a week before the expansion draft. So on the protected side, and again, I'm going to get into why these guys are where they are. Wheeler's got a no movement clause, so unless he waives it, unless Winnipeg's crazy and decides to put him up, which I can't see, he's protected. Connor, automatic line A. If he's still there, and he should be still a Winnipeg Jet at the time of the expansion draft, you protect line A unless you're making a deal with Seattle. You expose line A if you're saying, all right, so we'll leave line A out there. We can't make a deal with him. We can't get him to stick around. You guys take him and give us, these draft picks, give us, whatever, that kind of thing, right? Scheifele, automatic. Ehlers, automatic. Harkins, I protected Harkins because of his ability to move up and down the lineup without any problems, and I think he's going to have a good year. And then I protected Roslovic, even though there is the agreement that he's probably on his way out of town. But if he's still in Winnipeg, they protect him. Jack Roslovic is a really good young forward, and if he's exposed to Seattle, they take him automatically. Could they make a deal again but for Roslovic? Absolutely. But I'm going with the most likely scenario. Morrissey, Pionk, and DeMello are the defensemen I'm protecting. They just gave DeMello an extension. I can't see DeMello ending up being the one that they put out there as possibly being, picked up by Seattle. Remember, you can only lose one player. So it's not the end of the world, pretty much, unless you're Florida and you find a way to lose two top six forwards. But you should only lose one player. And then, of course, in net, I'm protecting Brossoit. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm protecting Hellebuck, of course, because I'm not crazy. Stastny, as I said, is a UFA in 2021. So I'm going ahead and saying, you know what? I'll put him out there as potentially being in Seattle the following year. Brian Little, he's on LTIR. He may never play again, right? Perreault, and they won't really have to worry about him anyways, because if he doesn't play this season, he's exempt. Perreault, older player, UFA 2021, and there's other players to protect. Lowry's where it gets tricky. I can't see them protecting Lowry. I know they just hired his dad and everything, but I can't see them protecting Lowry in the expansion draft. Kopp is a tough one. I could see Kopp being protected, Harkins being out there. I just went with Kopp being exposed. I know the last time I did a Seattle expansion draft that Kopp was the one that I had Seattle taking. Spoiler alert, that's probably still going to be the case. I like Andrew Kopp a lot, and I think there's the potential for more offense from him. Mason Appleton is also an interesting one. Could end up being protected. Yes, Harkins could end up out there, but if Harkins ends up out there, he may be the one that gets taken. Nate Thompson and Tony Nato. Tony Nato, decent depth player, not likely to be taken by an expansion team. And then on the blue line, you've got a lot of names out there, but are any of them likely to be taken? Beaulieu, not likely. Forbert, can't see it. Logan Stanley is the interesting one. He has 2 years of pro experience, therefore needs to be protected. I can't see Winnipeg protecting him unless he has a big breakthrough season. And could Logan Stanley be a guy Seattle looks at and says, you know what, we can work with this kid? I'm not betting on it, but it's possible. Lucas Biza, Tucker Pullman, and Sami Niku. Niku, of course, there's been talks of trades with Niku. Niku is one as well that Seattle might have advanced numbers on and say, you know what, we think we can work with Niku and he can be a good top four for us our first year. And then, of course, in net, I'm not protecting Brossois. There's also Burden and Comrie, but they're not going to get taken in an expansion draft. So keep in mind you can only lose one player. I went ahead and thought Harkins is going to have a good year. I thought Harkins played really well at the end of the year, showed he could play first through fourth line. That's important. But I could understand if somebody wants to expose Harkins and maybe protect Kopp, Lowry, this kind of thing. But again, Winnipeg can only lose one player. So I can't see Kevin Cheveldayoff making a bunch of trades with the idea that I don't want to lose one player for nothing, so I'm going to trade off 3 or 4 guys. I can't see it. And I don't think GMs are going to panic like they did with Vegas. I think there's going to be teams that just kind of say, all right, well, we're going to lose a good player, but all right, we can work that out. So there you go. Seattle, whom they might take from Winnipeg, who might get protected. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as I know everybody will. I will do an expansion draft with the lists I'm using, and I'll make it realistic. I'll make it as realistic as possible. So it doesn't necessarily mean Stastny gets taken. It doesn't necessarily mean that I would change things up. And oh, look, Nick Ehlers was available. They weren't thinking. You know, that kind of thing. It's not going to happen. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.